Hello again. Welcome to Tuesday. I hope the weekend was good, and I hope Tier 4 is not too bad. And it looks as if we're getting some kind of Christmas. Nicola and Boris have deigned to give us a few days. It did make me laugh though. Scotland really has changed. I remember my father being really, really focused on New Year, and even now I keep a tradition going that he started with me, which was the dad gave presents to all the children and his wife on Hogmanay or New Year's Day. In other words, when my dad started work, which admittedly was a very long time ago, he worked on Christmas Day. And it wasn't, in Scotland at least, the big focus. Obviously, the big focus was Hogmanay, January the 1st, and January the 2nd to sleep off January the 1st. So, or maybe Hogmanay, depending. The point I realise is it's become such a big thing now. We're not getting any allowance for Hogmanay or New Year. Back to Tier 4. Bye. So things are hopefully a bit better. The thing that struck me, however, was that for some people, they're not going to be better because there's nothing to do with Tier 4 or Tier 3 or whatever tier you're on. I guess it's just having been in Pennycook where we did a big thing. We had a Christians Against Poverty worker. And each Christmas we would just deliver various Christmas hampers, or at least I helped. It was Joyce who did the lion's share because there was supposed to be obviously a confidentiality. These are people who have got immense debts or just debts that cause them real issues. And as the work kind of began and sort of get into its stride, it became clear that people basically referred themselves because they had decided they needed help with the debt that they had. And something became really, really clear. The cat worker in our church never ever got any referrals in December because everybody had to pay for Christmas. So nobody was going to say, give me a budget that I can live my normal life on. No one's going to ask to start that in December. Even people who in September and October and November were still paying off the previous year's Christmas, they stopped all the budget stuff and just blew it as far as December was concerned because it's Christmas. And I understand that logic. I hear that logic. And I kind of think a lot of people get a bit defensive when I get so assertive. The idea that Christmas has become the season where people have to put themselves into debt to celebrate Christmas is blasphemous. We are in danger of just doing nothing in response to the fact that a Christian festival, a Christian celebration of the birth of our Saviour, puts tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people really. A lot of the debt just gets put onto the plastic and gets dealt with sometime. Never time. And so I tend to take a fairly hard line as far as Christmas is concerned because I realise it's important to recognise you can have Christmas without spending loads and loads of money. Do I spend more money? Yes, I do, Probably. But I don't go into debt for it. Debt's the issue. Debt's the killer. And when I say killer, it's not a metaphorical flourish. The people who end up with CAP have normally contemplated suicide, have usually gone without meals themselves to feed their children, and certainly would go without meals to buy presents for their children. So there are four things. I will regularly come to repeat these every Christmas because we don't do them. And when I see a society that doesn't need me to say them, then I'll stop repeating them. But the idea that when you have something like Christmas, the constant focus is to try and come up with something new, a different slant, a different angle, a different joke, just something that makes it slightly other than what it is. The difficulty being what it is what it should remain. I can't remember the guy's name. He's one of those management gurus. He's dead now. I just remember the thing that he always repeated. He was repeating it from a kind of business point of view. I would repeat it from a theological point of view as far as Christmas is concerned. He used to say, the main thing is that the main thing stays the main thing. In other words, your Saviour was born on Christmas Day. He wasn't. We're just celebrating it on that day. It didn't actually happen. And the fields were not covered in snow. And the Magi were not tripping over. As the Magi went in, they were not tripping over the shepherds going out. They were months apart. And there's lots of things that, shocker, it doesn't happen the way it was actually shown in the Christmas card or the nativity play or the whatever version nativity you've got on TV this year. My simple point is, I don't care that Jesus wasn't born on the 25th of November. Sorry, 25th of December. We picked a date. We stole it from pagans. That's why we have the mistletoe and kissing under the mistletoe. In other words, pick holes in it as much as you want. This is the time when we basically keep the main thing the main thing. Jesus was born. And that's pretty much all you need to focus on. But there's four things I want to finish with because if you keep on saying them and keep on coming back to them each Christmas, your Christmas will be better. Worship fully, spend less, give more, love all. Worship fully because you have to say thank you. And if you just say it with words, it becomes a bit monotonous. Say it with songs. That's why, for me, singing Christmas carols is so important because they're so good, and it's really important that we sing Christmas carols. Worship fully, spend less. Your cash, spend less on the food that will just make your waistline bigger, on the presents that they probably don't need. I mean, it's just, I enjoy a silly Christmas jumper as much as the next person. I'm just saying, if you're going to spend money, give somebody one of those wee plastic goats that represents the fact that there's now somebody in Africa who's got a live goat because you bought it for them, and then that was the present. Make the present something significant, or better still, just make it a present that's something that's a focus on somebody else that really needs it somewhere around the world. Whatever else, spend less. It is a blasphemy that this season becomes a time when so many people go into debt, as a consequence have fights, as a consequence get divorced, as a consequence of all the stress, because the money creates that, that all happens off the back of Christmas. That is a blasphemy that Jesus himself would condemn. Worship fully, spend less, give more. You've just told us to spend less. Give more of yourself. I already know what I'm getting from my son Ross in Manchester, assuming he makes it here. He makes, it's a kind of, I'm not sure exactly what it is. I don't think it's a gherkin, it's something else, but it's in some sort of sauce, and you have it with your meat and 2 veg. And when you get that, then it's meat and 3 veg. It's The thing is, it's really tasty, and you can't buy it in the shops, and it's unique. And I'm really happy I'm getting it. Give more that's of you. Give yourself. Give more time. I can't do that. We're not supposed to be. We're supposed to be in a bubble, and I can't be in that bubble because I'm in this bubble. So phone them, or I know Zoom fatigue is something I experience as well, but give of yourself, of who you are, of the time, your wisdom. Yeah, you've probably got some to spare. Don't give too much away because you would need some for yourself. The point I'm making is give more of you, because take my word for it, 2020 has been the year when we need to simply spend more time with one another at Christmas and give thanks for the relationships that have been so often unseen. Worship fully, spend less, give more, love all. Our best Christmas was when the woman who had been a drug addict came to faith, and she had nowhere to go at Christmas. And so I invited her to the manse. I have to say, it was scary. There was folks who, it's kind of like, drug addict? I mean, I know you're a Christian, for crying out loud, but still, it's a brilliant day. It really was an absolutely fantastic day, because Christ's day should not be some inward looking, me focused, my family focused thing. This year, it is definitely something where the ability and opportunity to love all is definitely going to be limited. I'm just saying, if Jesus had had the same attitude that many, many people have, where we just close the door and don't let anybody in, we need to take the opportunities where we can. We're going to have a virtual Christmas fair where you can phone in and order the stuff that you would hopefully, probably, maybe have got if you'd come to the Christmas fair. We'll get details. The issue is, it was just kind of, we just have to make the focus outward, because that's what Jesus asks us to do. Go into all the world and make disciples, baptizing them in my name, teaching them what I've taught you. Worship fully, spend less, give more, love all. And until then, go with God, because I know God goes with you. Bye-bye.